in this time of year, it's important for you to really think about, how am I going to reset? And in that resetting, what do I need to reframe? And when I reframe it, how am I then going to renew my energy, my effort, my mindset, my attitude, in order to continue to move forward in my purpose? I had the opportunity to go to Portland with one of my clients, and who's incredible. Her whole team is just amazing. And so probably for the last few weeks, I've been kind of resetting and rejuvenating. Just overlooked the scratchy, y'all. Some that went down the wrong way. And every once in a while, not every once in a while, a lot, because I am an overthinker. I will overthink everything. And I tend to overthink about all the things that need to be fixed, as opposed to overthinking about the things that need to continue, right? That whole stop, start, continue. I tend to overthink the stop and not the start or continue. And I got a chance to hang out with these clients, and then I was going to go hang out with my really dear friend from grad school. And it's been crazy, right? I've been traveling like crazy, and I was exhausted, and it's a time change. So when I get there, right, it's 2 hours behind. So I have to stay up an extra 2 hours, which is always hard for me. But this work really energizes me. So I got a chance to get there, had a great dinner the first night, and was talking with the CEO about, things they're doing in the business, things that are going on with her team, things that are going on, in her life, and that she wants to do. And I got a chance to do the same thing, because she's turned out to be a really good friend as well, not just a client. And good morning to Miss Hawkins and Miss Mama Young. She's turned out to be a really good friend as well. And so we had that conversation on that Tuesday night. So I've been up doing the show, got there, did a dinner, got up the next day to do some one-on-ones with the team and some team meetings. And as I got up, I thought, I want to make sure I show up for everybody. Now, I always deliver. That's just how I'm wired. I always deliver. And I'm always exhausted after, but I always deliver. So I got a chance to sit down and talk with the team on that day. And then, the big day was Thursday. So I was there with them for 2 days. And then I left there and I went to hang out with my friend in Carlsbad, California. Y'all saw my live. If you didn't see my live on Instagram, she's in Carlsbad. So that's in Calavera. She's near the Calavera Hills, Calavera Canyon. And so I went on a walk that felt like I was climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. So I did that. But when you talk about, and it was fantastic. And as tired as I was, and as messy as my mind has been from overthinking, and from thinking about what's going to happen for 2024 and how I'm even going to close out 2023, getting prepared, finishing up this certification that I've been telling you guys about, all the things, I can just feel, and I know I'm not the only one, especially entrepreneurs and even folks in corporate, right? I could just feel all the pressure just closing in. I could just feel it closing in. And I had to give myself my own advice, right? How am I going to reset, reframe, and renew so that I'm going into 2024 stronger, but also so I can make it through the end of the year without losing my mind? So I was talking to the client. I was sitting there with the client, and I love them, right? I've been with them, or they've been with me. It's a good 3 years, I think. And so I've seen some great evolution with them. It's a fantastic business, and they're fantastic people. And that's why I say and tell all of you, my role is your chief navigation officer, right? That's what I do. I am able to connect business strategy and people strategy. I am able to help you navigate through the waters that get really kind of murky as you have built an incredible business and you're trying to go to the next level. That's where my genius is. And so I've worked with them quite a long time, and I've seen the evolution. And so we were talking about that, and I said, I don't know if you guys see it, but here's what I see. And then the CEO looked at me and her team looked at me and they said, we would not be here right now, and we would not be seeing some of the things that are happening with our people if we hadn't done this work with you. If you hadn't done like a buddy to boss training with them, and we need to do a new testimonial for you. And I'm like, yes, please, that would be awesome. She said, we know the impact that you have had on our business. And I heard that and I absorbed it, and I was just so humbled in the moment, and so happy and excited as well, but just so humbled in the moment because I do love what I do. And so that was the beginning, right? So then I get to California, hanging out with my friend. We're doing our spa day. We took our picture. Haven't forgotten to send you the pictures, Leela. I just got so buried last night, but I will send you the pictures. We got to go out and see some dolphins, and the way the sun just looked. I got to post that picture. The way the sun truly looked like just diamonds on the water. As she said, it was such a great weekend, just of renewal. I hadn't seen her in a long time, and we've known each other 27 years. And this is the first time I actually got to meet her son in person, right? The first time I got to meet her husband in person, and we just had a really great time. And as exhausted as I was, and as from a service perspective, I'm like, man, maybe I should have put it off. Maybe I should have gone to another time. All that serendipity, because normally her weekends are not open at all, right? She's got so much going on, and it all lined up. And in those conversations, not only seeing her in a different level of energy with this new direction that she is taking her business and her life, right? Really focused on strength and energy and training and nutrition for postmenopausal women. She's going to be phenomenal. Seeing her energy and seeing that transformation was renewing for me. And then also having a conversation about my business, right? And her reminding me to pause and go back and look at how far I've come and all of the things that I've accomplished, right? It just hit me today as I was driving in. My podcast is 5 years old this year. My very first podcast was on my birthday in 2018. It's 5 years old. Now, it started off as a trickle, but it started. It started. And it is, as much as I encourage my clients, right, to celebrate the wins. Think about yes, do postmortems, but what went really well that you need to continue to capitalize on, right? And then what are the things you need to tweak? And what are the things you need to just fix because they're broken, right? But what are the things you just need to tweak? And that's why you have to surround yourself with an incredible village. Some people call it squad, some people call it tribe, whatever you call it, an incredible village. Because she was like, Laurel, I want you to sit in what you've accomplished. Not only in educating people around voting, look what you've done about getting people to vote. You had someone reach out to you to say, where do I vote? I want to go vote, and then send you a picture of the sticker, right? Keep doing what you're doing because there's a reason you're here, and continue to believe in your purpose, right? Then I got a chance to meet with a friend of mine last night and had dinner with her. And she's just awesome anyway, too. I'm so blessed to have such incredible people around me. And so we were talking about what she's doing and what she's doing with her company. And I was telling her what was going on with my business and some things that I'm looking at moving. And she's like, okay, I hadn't thought about this. So long story short, we're looking at doing some work together. And she said some of the same things. She's like, I remember when you just sent me a picture and said, what do you think about this logo? She's like, I remember that. And look where you are now. Look what you're doing. Look at the content you're creating. Look at the impact you're making. Look at all of the things. She said, I remember the very first conversations and now the conversations we're having in this moment. The clarity you have in this moment. The impact you're making in this moment. She said, I see that evolution. And so I give you those stories to say, when you are in this time of year, in a hard time of year, a renewing time of year, this part of the year around holidays, end of year, moving to the next thing, things dying off, things renewing. That's why I love that logo of a tree. It matters to me, right? Things fall off, they fall to the ground, they kind of get mulched up and they rot. But in that rottenness is nutrition and nutrients and renovation and renewal. And then it goes to feed that root system to just come back and spring up again, right? You prune things off and they come back bigger, brighter, bushier, heavier, more fruitful. And so in this time of year, it's important for you to really think about, how am I going to reset? And in that resetting, what do I need to reframe? And when I reframe it, how am I then going to renew my energy, my effort, my mindset, my attitude in order to continue to move forward in my purpose? Resetting, reframing, and renewing. And you have the ability to do all of those, the 3 R's, right? Instead of reading, writing, and arithmetic, right? It's resetting, reframing, and renewing. And it's the perfect time to do that. And it is not easy. It is not easy to do those things, because when you're starting to reset for you and or for others, you have to look critically at what's going on right now. And sometimes that critical look has stuff attached to it, experiences attached to it, feelings, emotions, all of those things attached to the resetting process that can sometimes make it difficult for you to reframe. And if you can't reframe for yourself, how are you going to reframe for others? Leadership is about behavior, not about position. And when you are running a department, running a business, a leader in a company, a leader in a club, this time when you're looking at what's the strategy for the next year, what are we trying to do? What are our goals that we're setting? What are all of the things that need to happen? There's always a resetting in that. And in that resetting has to be a review of what was done, how it was done, and what the outcomes were. So the resetting requires a review. But the review does not require that you punish yourself. The review does not require you placing blame. The review does not require you being so hard on yourself that you get to that place of, well, I just can't do it, or we're not going to make this happen, or we've just got to completely redo everything we're doing the next year. Resetting does not mean saying we're going to cut every single cost, every single thing we're going to do. That's not what resetting is. Resetting is understanding and then making intentional changes that are related to the goals and objectives that you have set for yourself, for your people, for your organization, for your business. Understand what you have decided is the ultimate goal and the outcomes that you want. Review what you did and how it impacted those, and then determine what needs to be reset. And sometimes the resetting is that's exactly where we need to be because we didn't quite get there last time. But I know that is where I need us to be this time. So we're going to reset that goal. We may shift it a little bit. I may look at different ways to get to it. I may put in different tools. But we're going to reset against that goal because that goal is ultimately where I want us to go, where I want myself to go. And that resetting, that personal resetting is not only, for your business, for your organization, for your team, that's a resetting for you. I talked last week about how, I'm just not going out like this. I have to reset. I have to reset. My body is hurting. My body is rebelling. And I can't do my best when I don't feel well. So I have to reset. And in order to reset, I have to see where I am now, what worked, what didn't work, what got off kilter, and be willing to be honest about that and reset it. Just reset. That may mean, in practical terms, that you have to look at doing a fast. You have to look at cleaning out your pantry. You have to look at renewing or redoing the exercise that you're doing. If you're only doing cardio, you add strength. If you're only doing strength, you add cardio. Maybe you do Pilates. Maybe you do stretching. Maybe you do the bungee exercise that I'm dying to try. But you reset whatever it is that was happening against the goals that you have set as the ultimate objective. And in that resetting, you have to be willing to look at all the things. Once you reset, right, that resetting enables you to start thinking about reframing, right? They are connected processes. If I'm going to reset how I feel, I have to reframe the pain as not insurmountable, but addressable. I have to reframe effort as not one-sided or individual, but as connected. Food, exercise, sleep, which seems to be elusive these days. All the things. I have to reframe what it means to execute. You have to reframe what it means to execute. When you are resetting things for the next year or for the end of the year, what do you need to reframe to ensure that the effort that you're going to be putting in actually moves you there towards the goal and sets in place some reframed indicators of how impactful and effective the new things are? And sometimes the reframing is reframing your really deep mindset. Asking for what you need. Claiming what's going to happen. Believing that you are enough. And in this moment, you have everything that you need to make happen what needs to happen. That you can be grateful and demanding at the same time. My friend in Carlsbad recommended this book, and I actually read the whole thing on the plane. It's a book by Abby Wambach. I think I actually have it in my bag somewhere. It's a book by Abby Wambach, and she kind of reframes these 8 rules. And one of the things she talks about, especially for women, so women, I'm talking to you, is you can be grateful and demanding at the same time. And what she means is we can absolutely be grateful for where we are. You can be grateful for the health that you have. As much as my body hurts, I'm up. I can move, right? I can drive. There are things I can do. Do I hurt as I do them? Yes, I do. But that pain also tells me that I'm still here. I am still here. And so are you. So pain is an indicator that something needs to change, but pain is also an indicator that you are still here. So you have another day to fight the good fight, right? So we can acknowledge and be grateful for the things that we have, right? I am grateful for this body that's in pain. And I am demanding of my body and of myself that it starts doing something different. And through that demand, I am willing to do the work to reset the goals and reframe the outcomes in order to drive what I'm expecting, to get the renewal of energy, of mindset, of outcomes. Because I'm looking at gratitude as not contrary to desire. Gratitude is not contrary to demanding what you need, want, deserve. Those two things are not mutually exclusive. I can be totally grateful and am totally grateful that I have a home that did not flood during Harvey. I am so blessed and so full of gratitude for that. And I can still know that the house I have now is not my forever home and be believing for and working for something different. Doesn't mean that I am not grateful for what I have. I am so grateful. I have a roof over my head, a good one too, because it got redone. I am so grateful for that. I didn't have water in my house. There are so many things that I'm grateful for. And I am demanding more. I'm demanding more of myself in order to make an impact in the communities that I want to serve. So I have to reset my mindset around what it means to want things, to desire things. You have to reset what it means to lead. Because leadership is not about you. Leadership is about getting things done with, through, by, and for other people. How do you reset the expectations of yourself and of others in the work that you are trying to do and how you are trying to live into, deliver, develop all the things for other people? How do you reset that so that you can reframe the conversation? You can reframe the expectations. You can reframe your perspective on the outcomes, right? So that then you can renew your energy to make it happen. Because part of what happens with our energy drain is that when we keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over, and we don't get the stuff that we need. Number one, they say that's the definition of insanity, right? Keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different outcome. What that also does, when you keep doing the same thing, you keep having the same conversation, you keep hiring the same type of person, you keep using the same type of skills, the same type of tools, and then you get mad because you're not getting what you really want. You've got to reset your expectation. You have got to reframe what you got to do, what you must do, what you're used to doing. And you've got to get renewed energy because change takes effort. Change takes energy. So if you're going to use a new tool, if you're going to hire a different person, which means you got to onboard them differently. If you are going to manage expectations, if you are going to set goals that are stretch goals and modified goals, and you're going to go after different clients, you're going to tell your story, whatever the thing is, when you decide to use a new tool, you've got to reset your mind, you've got to reframe the story, and you've got to renew your energy. Reset, reframe, renew. It's a requirement of leaders. It's a requirement of individuals as we try to get through this thing called life. Because life, as they say, is lifing right now. Everywhere. It is heavy. I was talking to my village about that this weekend, right? Both in California and then last night at dinner. The world is heavy right now. The world is heavy on all fronts. There's so much going on right now. So many things we have to think about. So many things we have to talk about. So much danger right now. And yet, it is important that we continue to reset what we've seen, what we've heard, what we demand, what we want. Reframe that in a way that takes away some of the craziness, right? And then renew our energy and our focus and our determination in order to get there. You have been listening to the Rutledge Perspective Podcast. Thank you so much for downloading and for connecting. You can find previous episodes of the podcast on my website at laurelrutledge.com/podcast. You can also find me on social media at Laurel K. Rutledge and or The Rutledge Perspective. And I'd love your perspective on the things we talk about. And if there's a specific topic you want me to cover, just let me know. And please share this podcast with someone in your village who may need this little piece of perspective today. And if you're so inclined, I would really appreciate a 5-star rating and review on the platform of your choice. Apple Podcasts and Spotify reviews are particularly helpful. Thank you again for listening. Take care.